What's up YouTube? It's JP Dunphy, your BMW genius here at BMW Fort Washington. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you BMW's hotkeys and presets and why you're probably using both of them wrong. With that, let's dive on in. Alright, so this right here is an iDrive 7 car. As you see right down here, we do have our 1 through 8 hotkeys. Now, the reason I say hotkeys, these guys are touch sensitive, so watch if I just lightly run my finger along this, you'll see that it shows me what is there and if anything is assigned to it. Now, this is completely different from your presets. Now you can make individual, let me see if I can do this. I don't want to get any copyright issues on this. Oh good, volume's down. All right, so for instance, sorry, I wasn't paying attention where I was putting this thing. So for instance, if you have these guys right here, you can simply highlight whatever station you're on, come down here, press and hold, and it will save that station as a hotkey. That does not make it your preset. Why? Because you can see right over here in the corner, add to presets. Now you might be curious as to, well, I just added to presets. Well, technically, no, you didn't. So right now, because there are no presets, there's no preset list right here. But the second we add presets, it adds the preset list. What this basically does is this allows you to keep all of your favorite stations from Sirius. Whoop. Oh, well, this is just talk radio. This allows you to take all of your favorite stations from AM, FM, all AM, FM, and Sirius and have them all in one spot. So now when I go in here, you can see the Power 98.9 and the Pulse. Two completely different inputs, all one spot. Now, the main reason why we do it that way, rather than just have them all down here, these you have to take your eyes off the road, look at it, and say, aha, yeah, that's the one I want. Even if you get to the point where you're sort of like, all right, feel number one, yes, 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 yes. But the way that's supposed to work for that is it's made so when you press this button right here, depending on whether you have a head-up display or no head-up display, if you have head-up display, it'll basically show up in your, I don't know if you can see that up there, but I have presets right there, and I can go into my presets, and there are my two presets right there. Again, so sorry for the flashing. One major downside of recording on these, you get that flashing kind of effect. But yes, so those are, hey, come back. Presets and those options. Now I am using this little guy right here to go between the two. But if you're not using that, you can also have it in your main cluster right here. It'll say instrument cluster for infotainment because you wouldn't have a head-up display. If you have a head-up display, you can say whether or not you want one side or the other. To do that, simply go into boop, car, settings. We're going to go over to displays. And you can go either in the heads up or the instrument cluster. And you'll see this little guy right here, display infotainment list in either instrument cluster or head-up display. So depending on which one you want to do, you can choose which one you want where it to be. If you have it in the instrument panel, the only difference here is now when you press this button, it shows up right here instead. So again, presets are right there. Press, here are the two we just set. Of course, you also have access to all of your lists for Sirius as well as FM and AM right here using this. If you have HD radio active, you also get your HD channels. So it makes things super easy so that way you don't have to take your eyes off the road. And what that means is now that leaves your hotkeys open for other things. So your hotkeys, if you haven't seen that before, we do have a hotkey video out to show you exactly what those do. But basically, these are shortcuts to anything within BMW iDrive. So for instance, if I sit there and say, like right now I have one as that, but you can also go into, say, communications. And if you have a phone connected for, I don't know, Bluetooth rather than Apple CarPlay. So if it's Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, it can't save any of those down here. You can save basic shortcuts to them. So things like phone in CarPlay or maps in Android Auto. You can save those as a shortcut key, and that'll take you straight to your connection in there. But separately from that, you basically can't do any of those connections in here. Think of it as a basic library. This can take you to the book that you want. It just take you to the book you want, and then you get to go into it. So it doesn't take you to the middle of a book or anything like that. So, for instance, one of the things I'm talking about when I'm trying to say with that analogy is if I go to say driving data and trip data, with trip data highlighted, I can now press and save. trip data on there. Now, the reason I say it's like a book is, I know I highlighted there, you're like, well, why didn't you go in and save it? Because there's nothing in here that is savable for your shortcuts. But what that means is now when I press this, number 2, see, again, trip data, if I press that, it goes straight into the book. That's why I use that analogy for this. But yes, so here is that, and you can basically have anything you want. Now, my personal fun way of doing it here is I usually have my wife, my mother, and my father right here underneath my presets. I have travel to work, take me home. I have phone in CarPlay, maps in CarPlay, and stop navigation in case I'm using the onboard navigation. Now you can make those any way you want. That's the beauty of them. You can tailor them to anything you want, and that's the way to get the most out of these. So again, think of these as your shortcuts for the car itself, and remember to keep your presets in its own list. With that, if you found this video helpful, please like, comment, share, and subscribe, all the typical things we ask you to do. On top of that, if you found this helpful, but you're like, wait a second, I have iDrive 8 instead, don't forget to check out our iDrive 8 one. I'll leave a comment for that on the end screen on here, or a link to that in the end screen of this video. And yeah, that's that. And thanks so much for being with us. You know, can't make this stuff without you. If you ever want to see anything else, please leave those in the comments down below as well. Any questions, leave those in the comments below. And with that, have a great rest of your day, and thanks for being with us here at BMW Fort Washington. Have a great day.